You are listening to an exclusive on Pod Hub Network. Your city, your podcast.
To the delight of this crowd, McClendon marches down the dugout steps with first base.
McCutcheon's throw. The runner breaks to the plate. Here's the throw. Wow. It is out. The Buccos win. That ball's hit well to left center field. Back toward the track. And that ball is gone.
You are listening to the North Shore 9 podcast. Follow them on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Also, make sure to watch NS9 Live every Thursday on Twitch and help support by becoming a patron. Let's go Bucks!
Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to our, I guess, very first ever NS9 MLB Draft Special Edition show live from the NS9 studios. I am your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, as always, Tyler and Jim. What is up, everyone?
It's the day we've been waiting for.
Seriously, we've been talking about this day for a year almost.
I know, right?
Yeah, ever since the Tank for Kumar days back in last year. So a little bit of a change, but yeah, it's finally here.
How much has changed?
Right. I think actually, and
so many times.
He might be in the stream right now. I saw Chad Wickham, I think his name. If I'm saying your last name wrong, I apologize right now. But yeah, he posted his. I guess he made himself an alert from like last year in his calendars. I forgot all about it. Said Kumar Day, and boy, have things changed since then.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, Tyler.
I think we've gone through like 5 different first overall picks that have been projected.
I mean, at least,
and it was all aboard. It was all aboard Kumar. It's 1 year ago. It was Kumar number 1, not a question.
Yeah, I think legit since like all the mock drafts started, we've seen Kumar be the pick. We've seen Leiter be the pick. We've seen Lawler be the pick. We've seen one with Davis being the pick, and it seems like kind of coming on strong here. Mayer seems like he's going to be that guy, but I mean, hey, who knows? It's going to be fun.
Right.
It's very
and I mean, people have toyed around with Khalil Watson as well here and there.
Yeah, Khalil Watson too. I haven't seen any mocks with Watson, but there's definitely some chatter. Definitely some chatter around Watson as well.
It's just crazy. I mean, that's legit like 6 players that have been talked about, potential, whether they've been ranked as number 1 or mocked, potentially in like the top few spots. And that just kind of explains this draft right now. I mean, nobody knows. There's no clear cut. Last year everyone was talking about Rocker because he looked so good. It's Rocker, it's Rocker, it's Rocker. And what's funny is the beginning of this year, it slowly shifted to just it's Leiter. I mean, that's the pick. It's Jack Leiter. Just do it right now. And seems to be it's really neither of them probably.
Yeah, and it seems like they're just from reports, looks like they're pretty set on a bat. There was a report this morning that said that they're not really hearing Lawler's name anymore. So realistically, we're probably looking at Mayer, Davis, or Watson at this point. But they've been pretty. It's amazing. I mean, we're 10 minutes from the pick, basically 15 minutes from the pick, and nobody really knows what they're going to do.
I think we kind of know what they're going to do. They're going to go Mayer, but we don't know for sure.
Right. And it's not like Cherington tipped the hand at all, because he was actually on the second inning today, the Mets game. And at that time he was saying, we still don't have any idea. We're going to take all the time we need to figure this out. You know, I mean, talk about waiting till the very last second. It's draft day and they're telling us that they have no idea. It's not as if they had all year to prep for this. Right.
Right.
Like this number one pick just sprung up on them. They won the lottery yesterday. So
like, do you think, right? I mean, we're 15 minutes from the pick, probably. Do they know who they're taking?
Are they still in there arguing?
Have they made up their mind?
I swear to God. I mean, I hope, just from my viewpoint, I just hope that's Cherington not, giving away his hand, the GM talk. If he really didn't know what pick they were doing, I'm a little uneasy right now.
To be fair, it's usually not the GM's pick.
But he's the one
that's going to be that scouting.
Yeah, I mean, the GM. This is one of those things where like it is a complete team effort, right? I mean, you've got scouts all over the country who see these kids, and you've got area scouts where they're focusing on a group. You got another person who's focusing on another group. So I can't even imagine really how tough it is, because you've got one scout saying, I've been watching this guy for 3 years. He's awesome. You got another scout saying the exact same thing. I'm sure Ben Cherington has actually physically gone and seen these top guys, right? But he's going to have to rely on those scouts who have been watching these guys for years.
And I feel like actually that's another issue to dive into, because you said like you feel Cherington's probably watched them, but not live. Like the other issue to the Pirates having the pick this year is the pandemic that happened. So there was really no baseball at all last year, which is a very important year if you're drafting this year, especially high school guys and even like Al Leiter, like those type of players. So like there was no actual season play for the most part last year. And then this year, there really wasn't too much like scouts in attendance for a lot of things. It was all, for the most part, being able to watch like video. So
check one of Donardo calling him Al Leiter.
Did I say Al?
Yep.
Perfect. We got that out the way. We are officially 6 minutes in. So, but yeah, like this whole dynamic has shifted this year. And I mean, I know the Pirates, it seems like that's one thing, the Pirates added scouts, but a lot of clubs were cutting scout departments as well. So like, what a crazy year.
The other interesting thing too is the scouting department that is one part of this organization that did not have a turnover, right? So like Cherington is actually rolling with Neil Huntington scouts at this point.
Crazy.
Scary.
You've just made a lot more people uneasy.
So these scouts who've been watching these guys, they've been Pirate scouts for years.
But in regard to Cherington, though, I think we've talked about it a lot in just his trades of the type of players he's been going after. He's going after these projectable types, the guys that have a lot of tools, maybe a little ways away. And I think it kind of leads into this Mayer talk right now too, is he's a 6'3", 185 shortstop that he's hopefully going to grow into his body, and the tools are all there.
Yeah, I mean, Mayer's definitely, if you're looking at a projectable shortstop who can hit and stay at the position, he's got everything you want in that. Left-handed bat, another rare thing you see from the left side. So just because of the left-handed bat, you kind of hear all these people talk about Seager, and
he went to the same high school with Seager too.
Yeah. So yeah, like Seager and Crawford, right? But he seems like he's gonna be the guy, but I mean, I don't really know at this point. If I had to bet, I'm gonna go with Mayer, but I'm probably about 75 to 80% on that right now.
Is Cherington 75 to 80% on that right now as well?
Let's hope he's all in.
But that's one thing I want to say. So again, going back to the whole Rocker Leiter, and there's still a large set of people that right now feel if you don't take Leiter, you're an idiot. Now, granted, neither of us are scouts. Let's preface this: neither of us are scouts. These guys that are making this pick know way more than we do. We're only going off information. We haven't seen these people yet, right? But like with that said, you've seen Leiter, you've seen how good he is. But when you hear people like insiders mention this guy could be a Corey Seager bat and a Brandon Crawford glove, how do you not just salivate at that potential right there?
Because they say that about every first round
This
pick.
wasn't Harold Reynolds. This was an actual person who's even watched him. Unlike Harold Reynolds.
You do hear these from scouts, right? So Mayer's definitely getting some nice comparisons there. I think what you said, it's difficult for fans to really get a grasp on this because the baseball draft, it's so much different than like the NFL draft, right? The NFL draft, everybody's played college, everybody's watched them, so right. You kind of know what to expect, right? But with the baseball draft, yeah, we've seen Leiter and Rocker, right? They're on SEC Network every weekend. They're pitching on ESPN. Jordan Lawler, Marcelo Mayer, Khalil Watson. These guys aren't on TV. None of us have seen a Marcelo Mayer game, right? Like we haven't tuned into it. We haven't been following his career. He's really a guy who kind of came on the scene because last year was canceled. So these high school guys are people who we weren't really hearing about last year because they were, the last time we saw them they were sophomores in high school, right? So it's one of those things. I understand people saying, how can you not take Leiter, right? Because we've seen him. That's the only guy we've seen, right? Why would we not take him? We've seen him and he looks so good. But there's a whole other section of this draft, these high school prospects who none of us have seen. The scouts have all seen them, but we haven't. And they could be better.
Like I'm trying to think of like a comparison, and I'm trying to think in that same year, but it's like what if Peyton Manning was coming out of high school, and all you saw was I don't know who was the bust that I'm even thinking of right now. But I guess for example,
Brian Leaf.
Yes, Leaf, right? Leaf's coming out of college, Peyton Manning's coming out of high school, and I guess it did actually happen in a sense. But like everyone's like take Leaf. I've seen him, but yet here's Peyton Manning in high school we haven't seen, and clearly he was the better player. So I'm not saying that's the scenario. I'm not saying whoever we pick here is going to be the next Barry Bonds, as maybe the people of the fan say that they'd have to be. But like that's a comparison. You're right. I mean, you've seen one and you haven't seen the other. These guys are getting paid to see all of them, and these guys are saying that if anything, it's close, but they're ranking these guys better than Leiter. Jack.
It's like when the Texans passed on Reggie Bush and took Mario Williams. Because we watch Reggie Bush every Saturday, and he was 1-1 no matter what.
That's a good call.
Turned out to be the right pick to take a Mario.
Yeah, I think that's just what's different about this year is there's no clear cut number one. We haven't seen all these guys.
That's the other thing is there is no clear cut number one either. There's not a Steven Strasburg, Bryce Harper in this draft.
Yeah, no scout you talk to is going to say this guy is, heads and shoulders the best player in the draft. Baseball America, MLB Pipeline, Fangraphs, they have their rankings, and everyone's kind of bundled in together, right? Most, Tua, one of them has Mayer, one of them has Lawler, one of them has, the other one has Mayer, but it's just gonna be interesting. Whoever they've
changed week to week.
Yeah, so whoever they do pick is going to be a good addition to this system. I think that's the exciting part, right? Regardless of who they pick, going to be a good addition to the system. Going to be a high prospect in baseball. And I can't wait to see who the next guy that we get to follow is.
So just to say a comment here in the chat. Sorry, we'll get to you, Tyler. But so Captain Jack says he's not ready for the draft. He wants to see if we can postpone it 1 week. Get out. You're banned from the chat forever with that comment.
Yeah, absolutely not. I'm ready for it. Like I want it to be done and over with so that we can stop all this speculating and just focus
and nonsense. And nonsense.
But you hear all this about taking the high school shortstop and how it's going to be more of a signability thing. You look at the Astros, they took Carlos Correa 1-1. That was purely signability. That one worked out all right.
Who they take
He was
next?
a projectable, large shortstop.
Who they take next because they had money to sign him?
Was it Bregman? I have no idea.
Lance McCullers.
Okay.
Who wasn't going to sign because he was going to college. Because they were able to sign Correa, they took Correa, signed him for cheaper. They were able to get Lance McCullers to sign, and I would say that worked out pretty well for them.
And the slot money stuff is all because the Pirates decided to spend too much money.
Yeah, you can blame the Pirates for being too frivolous with their money. For now, how they have to be too cheap with their money.
All because the Red Sox whined.
Yeah, everybody got mad that we signed Josh Bell.
Right.
And really, it was back-to-back years because it wasn't Stetson Alley the same thing the year before. So it was like back-to-back years, Stetson Alley, Josh Bell. And so, then they were like, no more. We can't have the Pirates keep drafting these first-round talents in the second round.
We got to keep the Pirates from spending too much money. How dare them? They're ruining the draft. But you're right. So they've done it. And again, like that's how. So the people that want to say they're being cheap, I mean, it's a lot of money. They have a pool of money. And they're going to use all of the money. You know, like the money's there. They're going to spend it. It's just on how they're going to use it and spend it. And, you know, I don't want to get – Ethan's the one who shared it. So I'm not giving Ethan credit for this analogy. It was someone else, and I forget who it was. But, you know, it's very similar to like if you compare it to, once again, the NFL, you know, if you have a group of guys that are all about the same and you feel like you can get the same value 10 picks later, why wouldn't you trade down? And then you can acquire more picks to like beef up the rest, you know, more depth, better talent later on. And in the same aspect, like if you're 1-1, but you feel like you can get the guy and the fifth, you know, at the same value or maybe just a hair less, why wouldn't you save a lot of pennies on the dollar to get that same value? So again, the Correa McCullers situation, so you can potentially get those greater guys later down, and now you've gained a lot more talent within your system, opposed to just one who's not really that much better.
Yeah, and I mean, you have to remember, like the talent that is available in that beginning of the second round is still really good. You know, Ke'Bryan Hayes. Look at Ke'Bryan Hayes, by the way. Ke'Bryan Hayes was a competitive balance pick, right? So he was I think he was the 34th or 35th overall pick, right? So those types of players, those superstar players, they can come from anywhere. And yeah, if you've got more resources to reach a little bit higher in that second round, then that's a win.
And just think about this too. The Pirates have 4 picks in the top 76. So again, looking at, you know, there's a lot of talent up there that the Pirates can potentially get that they couldn't with more money.
Yeah, the Pirates are able to spend more money in this draft than any other team in baseball, and they will spend it all. They'll even go over. I think they're allowed to go 10% over or 1% over. 1% over.
Is it just one?
Without any sort of, I think it's just one. You know, without any sort of penalties. So they'll go over what they can spend. They'll spend the most that they can without having to give up a draft pick next year, right? And yeah, I mean, this first pick, I think regardless of who they pick, even if they go Mayer or even if they'd gone lighter, the first overall pick almost always signs under slot just because like they can't go higher. You know, what are you going to do? Are you going to turn down that money and then not get picked first overall next year? So
right.
It's pretty easy to sign that number 1 overall pick under slot. But yeah, I mean, it looks like we're, you know, kind of getting ready to go here. I know ESPN just started their coverage, so still no leak yet though. I mean, it's 7:03. We still don't know who they're picking.
That entire draft part about money is a reminder that if they draft someone in maybe the 3rd round that's not a 3rd round player, don't be mad.
Good call. Right. And why is that, Tyler? Like, honestly, expand upon it.
If you're taking a guy in the 3rd round, just like you guys have talked about with the first overall pick, if they were to do that and go under slot, that gives you the opportunity.
Pick's in.
Pick is in already. Never mind. Forget it.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow, guys. The pick is
Look
in.
at that. What a great team that doesn't take the whole clock.
Well, no. I mean, it was just announced on Twitter. The pick's not in, but I mean, should I go ahead and just say it? Jim Callis is reporting that the Pittsburgh Pirates are taking Henry Davis.
No.
Are you serious?
No. Okay. And this is nothing to do with Henry Davis. This is solely because of Jim and being a Louisville fan. This has nothing to do with actual Pirate stuff. I can't hear Jim for the next decade.
Henry Davis, number 1 overall pick.
This
Someone
is
light
interesting.
me on fire if that's true.
This is interesting.
There we go.
Someone must know something about robo-umps that I don't.
Is this going to lead you into a robo-umps conversation, Tyler?
No, but they just must know because he can't catch.
So I think so as far as Davis, he has a cannon for an arm. Really good arm. And he can hit. The guy can flat out hit. He's the best college bat catcher with power. It's pretty amazing. Like so I've been following Henry Davis for a few years now.
Shocking.
Going into this year, did not think he was someone who could potentially do this number 1 overall. I figured he'd be like a late first round guy, but this year he just continued to hit. It's amazing how well his bat developed. I mean, he was the best hitter in college baseball this year. Big time power from the catcher spot. And again, it's a position. I know you don't draft for need, right? Obviously, like the Pirates clearly felt that Davis warranted this pick, but it is, I mean, if you look at it, it is a position that, having a top catching prospect now is that, I mean, the Pirates have needed one for a while.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's someone already on the keyboards typing away about the catching prospect that the Pirates now have gotten. But I digress.
This is time for the pick.
Jeff Paston also reporting it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is very interesting because, I mean, my point of view,
this is interesting.
He is a very, very good bat. The catching spot, I think there's a lot of questions on it. But to Tyler's point also, we don't know what's happening with a catcher. Are robo-ops coming in? Are they not? If you have a cannon and you can't frame well and stuff, well, this is perfect. There's robo-umps and you don't need to. So that helps them out. There's also the possibility of the DH coming into the NL. That seems like very, very highly likely. So here's another bat. Pirates can't find a first baseman anywhere, so maybe he can slide it. So there's still options. But also, this is a college bat. So everyone who's worried about the timeline, right? Those people are worried about a timeline. He gets here quicker than those high school guys, too.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at Davis probably, if he's able to be in high A this year, or at least A ball this year, double A next year, or the year after. I mean, he's in Pittsburgh, you would think, by at least 2024, 2023, right? But yeah, I am shocked. I did not think that was going to happen. Pretty crazy. Wow. I'm pretty surprised.
I'm gonna be honest. This is a bad pick. It's a bad pick.
Put it in the chat. What do you guys think?
It's not a good pick. You take the high school shortstops. You don't take the college catcher that doesn't really have a position.
I mean, that's the worry, but I don't know. Does he play first? Does he go to the outfield? Does he be the DH? Assuming the DH is in here, or do you just stick him at catcher?
Yeah, so that's another thing too. If the catching doesn't work out, right, he can hit enough to be a first baseman or a DH. Obviously, you put him at catcher, and yeah, I mean, automatic strike zones are coming. Then his receiving skills really aren't that big of a deal. I'm just surprised they went with this pick. I thought they were going to go shortstop, and
obviously they know a lot more than we do.
Correct.
True.
Let's get that out of the way right now. But also, you're not taking a potential first baseman 1-1.
I mean, Torkelson.
Also true. Yeah, Torkelson.
I know it's a little bit different.
First base, kind of depending. Yeah.
His bat, I would say, is a little more special, but
yeah.
I mean, we could be seeing Sherrington it could be just a straight underslot move, and maybe he likes the rest of the draft that much. But
yeah,
this is a position that you can add a lot of potential. You don't get 1-1 picks that often.
No.
But again, they clearly like the guy. And again, this isn't like, I don't want people to think this is Tony. Like, I'm already seeing some people on Twitter saying Tony Sanchez 2.0.
No, that's not it.
Tony Sanchez going into the draft was like a 20th ranked prospect, right? Henry Davis is in the top 5. Like, he's in those 5 guys that are kind of all interchangeable. Fangraphs has him as the number 2 prospect in this draft. Fangraphs has him as if he were to be in the minor leagues right now, he would be the number 39 prospect in all of baseball. Mayer, they had him ranked at 37th. So we're talking about a guy that, like, people are ranking him right. Like, they are all right in that same category. And like I said, Davis is going to be somebody who I think can hit at least 20 to 25 homers a year. He's going to draw a ton of walks. You're going to look at a high on base percentage guy. He's going to be a good offensive catcher if he's able to stick that catcher spot. And again, the arm is great. That is his best defensive tool. So if he can work on the receiving and get a little consistent on handling a staff, then I mean, you're talking about a great major league catcher.
And to take that back to Tony Sanchez, it's not even close to the same. Tony Sanchez was talked about as an MLB ready catcher defensively with a bat that needed work. Davis is the exact opposite.
Right.
The bat's going to play. It's the other part that is a big question mark.
And that's what's going to bring up here too, right? Like he is the best college hitter in the draft. Like, you couldn't say that about Tony Sanchez. You know, like, it wasn't as if Tony Sanchez was deemed as the best hitter in college and was selected to Pirates. But, you know, I think that's just part of what this draft is. You know, as you mentioned about the rankings with Fangraphs, if we were to slide in there, how close they are. And it's like, I feel as if everyone, like, what sets everyone back is they have this set of flaws with them. And, you know, his is, as Tyler said, like, what is his position? He's the best bat. His bat plays. But what is his position? That's his flaw. You know, where Rocker has his flaw and Leiter has their flaws. And, of course, you have these high school kids. So, you know, a lot of risk involved with them. But so with him being the pick, if his flaw is, you know, the defensive side and the bat you feel plays, I mean, this is probably one of the safer picks, though, too, would you not say?
I mean, as far as from a safety standpoint, I don't really like drafting on safety.
I understand.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, I mean, Henry Davis is somebody who's definitely going to make the major leagues. You know, he's going to be a major leaguer. And he could, if the catching fails, he should be able to hit enough to play another position that requires less work. But yeah, I think the upside here is if he can stay a catcher, then you're looking at, you know, an impact catcher. That's the upside here.
From Catcher U?
From Catcher U, yeah. Louisville becoming Catcher U, the last first round pick catcher out of Louisville, Will Smith. I mean, he's probably top 3 catcher in baseball right now.
Yeah,
I know you got something to say, Tyler.
I don't know, man.
it's all over your face.
I mean, at the end of the day, he's still a top 5 prospect in this draft. We're not talking about them reaching for like a 15th best player. There's just a lot of question marks defensively. And maybe it probably doesn't, with the new NCAA stuff coming out about being able to make money off your own likeness. I don't know if that has anything to do with any high school players getting drafted. But I don't know. Maybe it's pure signability, but he's still a top 5 player.
Agreed.
Right. And like I said, that's what I want to stress. Like, this is not Tony Sanchez. right? Baseball America had him ranked 4th with the exact same grade, right? Everybody, they had Lawler at 60, they had Mayer at 60, they had Leiter at 60, they had Davis at 60, right?
And it's official.
Is it? All right.
Yep.
So Henry Davis, Pittsburgh Pirate. Wow. And like I said, Fangraphs has him number 2 prospect in the draft. MLB Pipeline has him number 5, but also same grade. So same overall grade of 60 that they gave Mayer, Leiter, Lawler, all of them. So
And you don't run into many catchers that have a 60 FV grade.
Oh, well, no. And
Like how many top
Captain Jack's
100
very
prospects
excited
are
about
catchers?
Captain Jack knows what's up.
Clearly another Louisville fan. So it's official. No more rumors. It is official. Henry Davis, Pittsburgh Pirate. So, I mean, here's the thing, too. With that being said, as you mentioned with his Fangraphs ranking, he should slide in now as the number 1 prospect in the Pirate system. Where's Gonzalez at?
Yeah.
Slightly behind him, but he is behind him still, right? With that number.
That's true. I mean, so Fangraphs has him at 39th overall. The highest Pirates prospect as of right now is Quinn Priester at 43.
Yeah, not even Gonzalez. They had Priester higher. So there you go.
So Fangraphs basically has him as the number 39 prospect, which would put him the number 5 catcher in minor league baseball behind Adley Rutschman, Luis Campusano, Francisco Alvarez, and Joey Bart. Actually,
some good
slide ahead of Bart.
Some good company.
Yeah.
I feel like the list of catchers drafted 1-1 is a very good list.
Well, then there you go, Tyler.
I'm just saying.
Done.
Let's go ahead. What is that list? What is that list?
I would have to look it up, but just off the top of my head.
Yeah, I mean,
Joe Mauer's in there.
Yeah. Adley was the last one.
Mm-hmm.
And Adley, once Wander graduates, Adley's going to be the number 1 prospect.
Hold on. Go ahead and talk while I look it up.
Sure. So I just wanted to preference that again. So again, going back to the whole, this is Tony Sanchez all over again and whatnot. We're showing you where he ranks. There's a lot of hype. Everyone really enjoys Priester, right? There's a lot of hype behind him. There's a lot of love behind him. Of course, the Nick Gonzalez pick, and a lot of people liked. He's above them. So once again, for this comparison, even if you feel, right, as Jim and Tyler, well, not so much Jim, more as Tyler, is pointing out they should win high school and whatnot, this is still a good pick. It's just how close all of them are together. He's the number 1 prospect in the Pirate system today as we speak, according to Fangraphs.
Yeah. Excuse me. But yeah, I mean, this is a guy who he completely is someone who was deserving of this pick. He likely will be able to sign him for under slot, which means that 37th overall pick. There's going to be some high school players who drop because of signability issues, and the Pirates are going to have some extra money to dish out with that 37th overall pick that they maybe didn't have before, to potentially grab a second first-round talent in this draft, right? So you now have a guy who all of the scouting places had him essentially ranked the exact same as all these other guys, these shortstops and starting pitchers. And you now freed up some money, most likely, where you can draft another first-round talent.
Right. So, like in that scenario, go ahead, Tyler. My bad.
I just think at the end of the day, you got a bat that's going to play at the major league level almost no matter what. As long as something doesn't go awfully, it's just something that he's probably not what you're looking for 1-1, but you're still getting a bat there that's going to play at the major league level.
Agree on that. And that's why I had to laugh here because I just got the notification that we've been followed by Henry Davis Stan. So they're already starting.
Jim, do you have a burner?
2 minutes into the draft.
That's my burner account.
Says here, account created in December of 2019. Yeah, that's Jim. No.
Yeah,
So
that's me.
yeah. So Henry Davis, Stan, already following us. Get them going, guys. But you are right, Tyler. I do feel like that he's safe in the sense of that he will be in the major leagues. He will be a good batter. We just don't know where he's going to play defensively, and that's like his drawback. But to the scenario again about that pick and how you can sign someone like first round talent, to bring back the scenario of trading down the NFL, and again the Reggie Bush one, right? If you're the Texans and you're sending the number one pick, and you're like, you know what, we value Mario just as much as Reggie, and there's teams that really really want Reggie. Like this is the Pirates taking, like they got, I'm not saying the comparison, but like dropping down. They felt that there's better value for less, pick. And they traded up. So instead of like picking number 32, they're picking now number 22, right? They're able to get those type of talents. So that's kind of like what this does here. Hopefully, in their eyes as well, like they really do believe it's not as if it's cheap. It's not as just like we're trying to get as much money. We signed the cheapest. Like I'm sure there's this little risk and reward type here. And they found that the amount he's going to pay for and how they value him as a player, like he is good. But it's also given that chance, as Jim said, to take someone who's could be a first round talent. But they're saying, you know what, forget it. I'm going to go to Vanderbilt next year. But the Pirates say, well, no, hold up. Here's an extra $1 million. How's that sound? And they say, yeah, you know what, Vanderbilt, I'm good. I'll come to the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Leiter just went to the Rangers.
Nice.
Okay. That was pretty much, it seemed like the pick. The Rangers were going to go with Leiter regardless of who the Pirates picked. From what I was seeing.
But I mean, back to David.
Yeah.
So you look at, say, a Kyle Schwarber. It's a guy that the bat was going to play no matter what. Was he a catcher? Probably not. But he's found a spot in the MLB, and the bat does play. So do you want Henry Davis to turn into Kyle Schwarber? If he does, you're not really mad, but you want him to be a little more than that. Especially because Schwarber was just a fat piece of shit that couldn't catch.
Right?
Yeah, I would put Davis's catching ability a little bit higher than Schwarber's, but no, that's a good comp right there. Like I mean, as far as someone who wasn't able to stick at the catcher position, but somebody who was able to hit enough to play, right? That's who Davis is. Like obviously the hope here is that he sticks at catcher, but if he can't and he shows he can't do that, then the bat should play in other positions.
And I like that comp, Tyler. So let me ask you, Jim, of course, too, watching him a little closer. So like that scenario comes up. So maybe the catching isn't there. It's not what they want, or they find a better catcher somewhere. Maybe it's Rodriguez, whatever. So Schwarber's bat played. Terrible defender. Like, do you feel that if he were to go in the outfield, that Davis could be a better outfielder than what Schwarber would present?
I think if Davis is going to move anywhere, you're probably looking at first base. I don't know if he has like the mobility to be an outfielder. Maybe right field in PNC Park, because he doesn't have to cover a ton of ground. I actually could see that. I wouldn't put him anywhere near left field in PNC Park or center field, but I think he could. He's definitely athletic enough that he could probably handle right field in most ballparks, especially PNC.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
My next question is, what does this mean for the window of the Pirates? Because we're now looking at a guy that's much closer to the majors than you're looking at a Mayer or a Lawler.
Another good point. I mean, you got to think Davis's timeline pretty much matches Gonzalez's, or is maybe right behind it, right? Gonzalez kind of lost a year last year, so kind of maybe stunned his development a little bit. But yeah, I think that's probably another good point. You probably now have Davis and Gonzalez and Cruz kind of all reaching the majors at the same point, if everything works out.
With Reynolds and Hayes with a good bit of control left.
Yeah, that too.
And that was like the big thing about Leiter. Leiter fits that window for the people that want the Pirates to be competitive in 2023, which we're on board with, right? Like next year they should improve. So that way, at least in 2023, they're interesting. He's like you say, Jim, he's probably going to be here. So now that worry of, well, if you draft one of these, like that was a bit of the downfall. Not that should make your decision. right? If you felt that they're best and it was the best decision to draft them over Davis or later, you make that move. But some of the worry, and that's what people are down on, is if you draft one of them, they're not here for 5 years. So it's like, where are you going with this rebuild? The pick's in. It's Davis. So with that said, he is a bat, and he will be here a lot closer. And like you said, probably 23. So kind of look at this too. I know it's just 2 drafts, but it's Gonzalez, it's Davis. These guys can hit. Tyler's the one that brought up Schwarber. Let's just kind of compare like the Cubs a little bit. They were big in the drafting the college bats. You saw the bats they got. They were pretty damn good. I know Cruz is in the college bat, but you have Cruz down there. Like, you're starting to get some bats creeping up.
Not to mention Peguero as well.
Hayes is already here. Reynolds is already here. I know these guys are just prospects, but the prospect now of Gonzalez and Henry and Cruz and yes, Peguero, like, you got some bats that are pretty damn intriguing down there that are close also. Not just there, but close.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a pick to be excited about. And I said, like, this is a guy who now slots in as this team's top prospect. And as you mentioned, now the window and these prospects who they've been able to hoard these last 2 years, they're kind of all bunched together. They should be arriving at the same time, and they should be arriving to a team with Reynolds and Hayes. Yeah, it's definitely something to be excited about. It's an exciting pick. Pirates fans should be happy.
Jim
the
is
power alone. I'm happy. The power alone should intrigue people. Because he if you look at all those bats that were in that draft, Davis is somebody who's going to be able to hit for power pretty quickly. The power doesn't really have to develop; it's there.
Right.
The guy should be a 20 to 25 home run guy out of the catcher spot, unless with high on base percentage skills. I'm excited.
And
Yeah.
You have to wonder if part of it has to do with Sherrington not being able to get out and see these high school kids. And that Davis is what Davis is. He's the guy that's going to reach the majors if he can stick to the catcher position, which hopefully they have more hopes than I do. And they have a really good catching coach down there somewhere that can teach this guy how to receive, or they just have way more information than we do about automated strike zones. But at the end of the day, he's a guy that, like I've said 14 times, the bat's going to play. And really, what are we looking for in an MLB draft? We're looking for 1 to 2 guys that are going to reach the major leagues. You got one of them.
It's a good point. And again, going with the safe thing, I know, like Jim said, you don't want to go safe 1-1. But with this crew of guys, with the lack of information, I want to put it there, like the lack of information, that with the lost season and, scouting being more difficult this year, you haven't been able to really gain the information that most years you have up until this. So you might like completely
Jackson Job.
Oh, so he did go. Okay.
So the shortstops are still hanging.
They're falling.
Who went third? The pitcher?
Jackson Job.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So yeah, the high school shortstops have all fallen.
Maybe Tyler was onto something.
I'm interested to see what Boston does with this 4th pick here, because they're linked to they were linked to Rocker and they were linked to Davis. They were linked to both of those guys. They really weren't linked to the high school guys because we were all assuming that some of these college people would be available. I'm curious to see if Rocker goes next year to Boston and the high school shortstops keep dropping.
Would that be interesting?
It's going to be an interesting. It's not like the Pirates passed up on Elijah Green. Let's make that
correct. Clear. Right. Again, this isn't Bryce Harper coming out of the draft. This isn't Strasburg coming out of the draft. This is a group of pretty good guys with some flaws. Which flaw are you going to take?
The Pirates took the flaw of this guy's going to be a major leaguer no matter what. And Marcelo Mayer Now I'm talking myself off the ledge here. He could have been Cole Tucker again.
I have a hard time believing that, but
I do too, but I'm trying to talk myself off.
I know, but it's risk. There's a lot of risk involved in the high school ones, and just like Jim said, they're all rated about the same, right? 60 grades. The thing is, when you look too about the risk, extreme risk on both high school guys. Like they could have not reached the majors. The potential is certainly there. They could be a Corey Seager bat and a Brandon Crawford glove. That's something to salivate over. But they could also not make the majors. And now you have a 1-1 bust. So I know you don't want to go safe, and I'm just presenting this now to get like a talk. Like with this year and all the lack of information you had, is that a possibility? Does that weigh in at all? Do you just feel like, you know what, we don't really know, but I do know this guy will be here. He is an impact bat. Like at the very worst, he's a Kyle Schwarber. Just going to put that out there. So I like that comp, Tyler. Like at the very worst, he's a Kyle Schwarber. Mm-hmm. Could you do worse than that? I mean, I know I'm trying to talk myself a little bit into this as well because I thought for sure it was going to be a shortstop.
I'm trying.
But he's here closer. I'm trying to find this, the positives of this. He will be a major league bat. Rocker could be a reliever. Leiter just could be a back end guy.
Mayer is going to Boston, by the way. So Boston is picking Mayer at 4.
That's nice.
So at the end of the day,
I like
the guys that really were mocked to the Pirates probably fell to like 4 to wherever Lawler ends up. Leiter did go too, but really hasn't been mocked there in a long time. Mm-hmm. So something had to have been going on, or these guys are just enamored with what they ended up with. Which also, Sherrington, to get back to, we're in year 2 of his draft, and his 2 first-round draft picks, they've been pretty safe. I know Nick Gonzalez fell into his lap, and it's a great pick. But you look at Davis, he is a safe pick. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be interesting to see this strategy play out where he's actually looking.
Yeah,
because he gets more aggressive, though, as the rounds go on.
Yeah. And you say it's a safe pick. Like I get that it's a safe pick, but there's also upside here. Like there's upside.
And that's what I wanted to point out too. Like when I kept saying safe, like I don't want to, it's a good pick, but also is probably the safer of them.
Yeah. The upside here is like if he can get a little bit better defensively and stick a catcher, then this is a really good pick.
Yeah.
And to Tyler's
if he can
point,
just be an average major league catcher.
Yeah. And play first base
with the glove, I mean.
Yeah.
I'm talking about with the glove.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if he can just be average defensively, then you're looking at one of the better offensive catchers in baseball. And you add those two things together. And as Tyler said, catchers are just handed WAR, right? So you got a catcher who's just handed
like a
handed.
God, imagine having a catcher that can hit.
Yeah. Dude's
I'm
gonna have
excited now, boys.
Dude's gonna have like 11 WAR. Gonna have like 11 F WAR every year.
Buster Posey, here we go.
But yeah, and like Tyler was saying, like to your point, like that is actually very true. Last year with Nick Gonzalez, this year with him, but I feel as if like a lot of the trades, it's been very, very high risk, high reward. It's riskier guys. Let's go for the potential. Mm-hmm. And maybe, I don't know, like we'll see how that plays out. Make sure the top guys get there. And again, they are good though. And then you really go for the riskier guys later on. I don't know.
Unfortunately, we saw this strategy with Neil Huntington as well. And
yeah.
It did not work.
But I feel so. I want to say, like when you said the Colt Tucker one, like that just wasn't a good pick. Like Will Craig, that just wasn't a good pick. Like again,
I liked Will Craig.
Let's emphasize, even though we're talking safe, this was definitely a top 5, guy in the draft. He also is a good player.
I mean, when you look at a Colt Tucker, he was like a 70th ranked prospect.
Right. Everyone was confused on that, and now we literally are seeing why.
I don't know how he made it to 70. That guy should be on Disney.
He might be.
That's true.
He should be on Disney, not in Disney.
But no, I think to kind of go along with what you guys are saying, this is a safe pick in that dude's going to make the majors, right? He shouldn't be a bust at least. But there's upside here. There's some good upside here where if, like I say, he can get a little bit more skilled at receiving and calling a game, then you're talking about a guy deserving of 1-1. So I think that's what the Pirates are going for here. They're hoping the catching can probably develop. They're definitely going to, like I said, save some money and utilize it and hopefully get it for another first round talent here with pick number 2.
We're only 4 picks in.
Mayor to the Red Sox.
Oh.
I just want to add here.
Yeah.
I love that for them. Like, that's such a solid pick for them right now.
Whatever. I don't care. Red Sox suck.
I think at the end of the day, is there a chance that we look back and go, oh God, they could have had Marcelo Mayer over Henry Davis? It's not going to be as
Absolutely.
bad,
Yeah. I mean,
but it's not going to be as bad as other picks where I'm trying to think of the last time the Pirates did it, but like a Daniel Moss goes over.
This isn't that.
No.
Right. Yeah.
I
We're
mean,
not
as always,
talking,
though,
like-
let's still hope, but it should
Right.
never
Yeah.
it should never be that. That's where we're getting with the safe thing. Like, he will be in the major leagues.
Could it be more of a Jamison tie-on over Machado? Maybe. But at the end of the day, you can look back and be like, I mean, it made sense then.
Yeah, and it's like, unfortunately, with Tyone, it was more about injuries than really talent and development. Just unfortunate in that sense. I get that. I hate that comparison between the two because of that. But at the same side, it also just shows the volatility and risk that you have just in pitchers, period, also.
Yeah, but we're also talking about a catcher that there's volatility and injury risk.
Yeah. That's Mauer.
Exactly.
And Cervelli.
Yeah.
Right.
Catchers, though, for the most part, are pretty durable. I mean, they have long careers. But I mean, that's just like any position. Any position player is going to have the same issues.
Here's the biggest question of the night. In 25 years, is Henry Davis going to be the next manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates? Because he's a catcher.
They won't be able to afford him.
That's
He'll
true.
be at the Yankees.
Right.
Let me just get it out of the way now for you, Tyler.
Yeah. After they trade him to the Yankees in 2025.
Right.
Yeah, he won't want to come back.
2025. That may be too late. I don't know. Actually, with
So
that being
do
said,
the-
I mean, Gary Sanchez is going to be a Pirate here soon. So there you go.
Right. Gary Sanchez for Brian Reynolds. Is that right?
Yeah. It's a package deal. Sanchez for Reynolds and Davis.
But again, like I'm excited to see what they do now with this 37th pick. Like I said, they should now be able to get a second first round talent in this draft. I'm curious to see what Davis signs for. Probably about $1 million or so under slot would be my guess. Which gives them an extra $1 million.
Which also makes you wonder how much. I mean, I guess with them not really knowing, according to Sherrington, who they're going to draft, how much negotiation has really gone on.
I'm sure a lot.
I'm sure a lot as well, but
Yeah.
And that
There
could have
was
been it,
definitely
too.
stuff going
Wow.
on. Yeah, there was definitely
Oriole.
stuff going on, especially with Goldstein kind of tweeting. You know, he was pretty confident in the Mayer pick, and then he was like, I think it's gonna be Mayer. So there was definitely something going on today. Oh.
and they just took
Next.
Orioles just took a college outfielder,
Oh.
Colton Cowser.
Yeah. I don't even have his graphic up here.
I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure who he is.
That's
I'm not sure he's come across my top.
Maybe they're going well under slot as well.
Hey, at the end of the day, we're not the Orioles, boys.
Like,
So who'd they go with?
Colton Cowser,
yeah.
Oh,
Sam Houston State.
So number 11 on BA. So speaking
So-
of
Okay.
under slot,
I mean,
the Orioles have done that twice in a row now. Last
Yep.
year, the Orioles, that's how we got Nick Gonzalez, was the Orioles taking Kerstad last year. And what are the Orioles doing? I don't know.
two.
I
they
guess
had Lawler right there.
You know what though? That's 3 straight years now. The Orioles have taken college bats. You know, they got Adley first overall in 2019. Kerstad, they went for, again, that was a weird pick because Kerstad was kind of in the 10, 11th range in most rankings, and they took him second.
Right.
And now they pass over all the high school guys. And Rocker's still
So
on the board.
So now, according to Kylie, you got Lawler and Watson as this 1-2. You also have Brady House in there, and then Rocker's number 4. So you got 3 high school shortstops just hanging there.
2 with potential of being taken the top.
I mean,
few
they're all
picks.
going to be A-Rod potential. So,
A-Rod potential, you said?
oh yeah,
Lawler?
You guys got to turn off Harold.
No, that's a Harold Reynolds comp right there.
that's what I was saying.
But also, if they're not A-Rod, that's a failure for the organizations.
Oh man, the fan's going to be a blast tomorrow.
I mean, Pony's already stirring stuff on Twitter.
I haven't even looked at Twitter. I don't want to because I don't want to get jaded by anything. But I do. I'm really interested in how everyone's going to react because now the draft's over. Well, it's not over, but the first pick's over. What all the other really answers really worry about and care about is that number 1 overall. So now that this is done with, we don't need to hear about what the Pirates should do and what they're not going to do. But now we get to hear about what they did do and didn't. So I'm real interested with the Davis pick, what this reaction is going to be, how everyone's going to go crazy.
It's not going to be a good reaction.
I don't know. Like I'm in the middle because
It
I feel
kinda
like
depends
a
on
lot.
A
lot of the reaction of it was, how could you not go with later because he's here sooner? The shortstop's going to be here forever, and this doesn't fit that argument. Like he'll be here soon, also. It's just not later.
But he wasn't talked about. And that's all anybody cares about.
Well, then they need to follow Jim because
they need to follow me.
Yes, I'm aware.
I've said for months he was the consensus number 1 overall pick.
I'm done.
You didn't even believe when they drafted him.
I know, right? He's like, "Are you sure, Tyler?"
That
Are you
smirk on
sure?"
your face when they drafted him. You're like, oh shit, now I gotta defend him.
I did not think I would be on here talking about Henry Davis tonight. But here we are.
You gave us a oh shit. How am I gonna pull this one off?
Yeah. Good.
I mean,
I like it.
look, he's
So
like we've said already. He's gonna be a major league bat.
let's talk a little bit here. I guess also I wasn't really prepared for this either because
Nope.
I was expecting a shortstop, most likely. Leiter was the outside shot, but I figured he would come in if it just felt as if like the shortstops aren't budging. Do we have him number 1? Let's just go and sign him or whatever. I had some graphics out. I wanted to compare like how for the past 15 years, I compiled the top 10 picks in the draft. Sort them by pitchers, sort them by high school bats, sort them by middle infielders. So I don't have anything about college bats, okay, except just in the bats itself. But I guess maybe to put up here for the people that were wanting like the Lighters or the Rockers or whatever, I'm going to put up a graphic here of all the pitchers that were drafted in, again, the last 15 years within the first 10 picks. Now, The one thing about pitchers, again, like we talk about a lot of volatility. Lighter, rocker, like they definitely fall into this. That's the risk they present, you know? There's certainly some guys that made it. Like when you look at this list, okay, there's the Garrett Cole. Definitely a great pick. Aaron Nola, definitely a great pick. Strasburg, great pick, right? But also the thing with this is, like, as we mentioned, there was no Strasburg. There was no Garrett Cole. At the same time frame, you look at the 2015 draft when Dylan Tate and Tyler J and Carson Fulmer were the top 3 pitchers picked that year. Where are they now?
It's a dog shit list right there.
2015 was just terrible. And those were all college guys, not even high school, right? So, like, that's definitely a risk that the lighters presents, the rockers present with with pitchers. Like, they present such a risk, which also is, of course, why you need them. You need tons of pitchers because you draft these guys and they get injured or they don't make it. Mark Appel, another great example. He's the can't miss. Go get him. Get Mark Appel. And he didn't make it above, like, what, high A, I believe? Did he get to double A? I don't think so.
I think he got to double A, but that was it.
Did he get? Okay, so then he got to double A. So
Hey, he's back this year, I think.
Is he back? I know he's trying to make a comeback. Did anyone sign him?
I feel like they did.
I don't know.
Did they?
I'd have to look more into it, but it's not really worth. I guess we're gonna do it. Whatever.
It's always worth. We can keep talking.
Yeah. Mark Appel.
Mark Appel. Speaking of Carlos Correa, Mark Appel.
There you go.
That was the one that was supposed to be drafted by the Astros 1-1.
Oh. He made it.
He's in Philadelphia,
He made it to
AAA.
AAA.
That's
And
true.
And he's
I knew
walking-
He was in Philadelphia. That's right.
He's there right now.
He's currently walking 9.26 batters per 9.
Wait, 154 ERA though. Sam Howard, where you at?
I would say things aren't going too great for him currently.
No.
He's
No. I don't know what happened with him.
Not good.
He just like tanked just as soon as he stepped on a pro ball field.
should have never turned on the Pirates. That was his first mistake.
That's true.
But
without
again,
turning us down, we would have never gotten Austin Meadows, which would have never gotten us Chris Archer.
we just would have had Trade Appel also instead.
Would have preferred that scenario.
Yeah, at this point in time. Speaking of Daniel Moscas, David Price was selected first. Another great pick. But then he had Moscas. He had Ross Detweiler, Casey Weathers, Jared Parker, and Madison Bumgarner.
The the Diamondbacks are making their pick. Lawler is gone.
Lawler to the Diamondbacks.
Okay.
I mean, that's Baseball America had a number one.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
Lawler a lot.
Number one.
It's another team that needs a lot of
It
talent.
also it makes you wonder what the signability issues are there.
I could see
'Cause
Kansas City going rocker here now too.
God, please don't put him in Colorado.
What if Rocker fell to Colorado and had to pitch in Coors?
I'd feel bad for the guy.
He's gonna pull
No,
it.
I think
He's gonna pull it.
I
out.
bet Rocker goes to the Royals next year. So,
Could be. I don't know. They seem to be more of a Khalil kind of team. They love those athletes.
see, they got Witt though last year,
Yeah.
and I feel like and Rocker's good. I mean, let's not talk ourselves out of Kumar Rocker being a good pitcher. So
Yeah, I know, but I just
it'll be
keep
interesting to see what they do here. Yeah.
all I do is think back to like Bubba Starling and think that the Royals are going to draft like the best athlete available no matter what.
True.
Bubba Starling, the Olympian.
That's true. Olympian Bubba Starling.
Take that.
Whatever.
So
I was trying to remember what we were talking about.
Just I think just dropping down. And
yeah, I mean, let's go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that just him dropping down here. As Tyler was saying about the signability. This is the number 1 rated guy by Baseball America, and here he is with the Diamondbacks now. I mean, they have to feel ecstatic.
Yeah, but again, like there was no consensus here, right? So like Baseball America had him number 1, but Fangraphs had him number 5. MLB had him number 3. So like, if signability also played a part in it, then I mean the pick sort of makes sense going 6th. He's not too far down from where Fangraphs thought he was going to be. It seems like Watson's probably the best position player still available, and Rocker being the best pitcher available at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. I can see Rocker with Kansas City.
Yeah, Brady House was linked to Kansas City as well, but that's when we thought all these other guys were going to be gone. We weren't really expecting the Orioles and we weren't really expecting the Orioles to do what they did, so that kind of threw a bunch of things off.
Just talking about like players like wanting to see a certain player somewhere, right? Like Brady House in Colorado, that sounds fun.
Yeah, just because of the power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like look at the list of shortstops they've had too. Like obviously the Story's gone. But Tulowitzki, the Story, and like if Brady House could pan out, and again, like this power shortstop they have there, that could be pretty fun for Colorado.
I don't think House is a shortstop. I think eventually he's gonna have to move. But no, I mean if he could stay a shortstop, that'd be fun. Kind of another Trevor Story type guy.
But yeah, Rocker not so much. I feel bad. They have to figure something out though. Like
I think Rocker goes right here.
I still can't figure out what happened to Rocker that he dropped down.
Oh,
he really didn't get beat up that
right now.
He did not get beat up that much.
It's not that he didn't get beat up. It's just like I don't think he was able to really show that he could command a third pick. But here's Eric Longenhagen from Fangraphs saying that the Royals pick is about to get weird. He doesn't think it's House, Watson, or Rocker.
That is in.
Here we go.
Will Taylor.
High school lefty Franklin Mazzucato.
Who the hell is that guy?
Franklin Mazzucato. Fangraphs has him 29th.
Wow.
Pipeline has him. I'm still going down. 39th.
45 future value.
Baseball America has Mazzucato.
42.
Wow. So that's the reach right there.
And you said high school, right?
So
high school lefty.
So the Pirates are trying to get first round talent in the second round, and the Royals just got second round talent in the first round. So there's the difference.
Hey,
yeah, that is a weird pick.
The more of these guys that gets picked is better for the Pirates.
Right.
That's true.
Someone just bumped up for the Pirates now.
Yeah. I said they got 30. They got 37th overall pick. So the more guys who people will reach for, the better talent they're gonna get. I would imagine that they'll probably go high school with the second pick, and it'll probably hopefully it's somebody who has a strong commitment somewhere, and they can kind of force his hand to sign.
Now, another comparison. We're laughing about this pick, right? To a degree. And again, comparison to the Pirates pick of Davis and about safe and weird and stuff like that. 42 is still 30 spots higher than what Cole Tucker was. So, like we're talking about that, like he's still about 30 spots higher than what Cole Tucker was when the Pirates drafted Cole Tucker. So, as weird as this is, put some perspective on it.
Oh, that's weird. it makes you really wonder what's going on with Kumar.
Actually,
Like, why do teams really not like him that much?
I think it's just that he has the potential to be a reliever.
Like, it's there, but
And it is interesting though that if you're going to take a pitcher, you take a lefty from Connecticut who
less wear and tear on the arm, maybe.
Well, then who also could have maybe been there your second pick.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a little scary when you look at a high school pitcher that is wearing long sleeves and maybe a hoodie while he's throwing.
Yeah.
I
mean, hey,
you don't see too many pitchers from Connecticut get drafted this high, I would imagine.
Maybe there was something their scouts saw in him. So
someone's banging that table.
Benefit of the doubt. They're smarter than I am.
You never know. I mean, that's the reason why. It's a reason why Mike Trout fell as low as he did, right? Mike Trout fell because I think he played like 13 games his senior year. You know, like he just didn't. He didn't play very much, and no one really saw him. And the people that he did play against were, you know, midgets. So he wasn't really ranked as high. But so you never know. Again, we've been talking about this draft forever. You have no idea really what these guys are going to develop into. You're just projecting at this point. Everybody who's getting picked right now has some sort of tools that have gotten them on the radar at this point. Now it's just a matter of, can you develop those tools and into the pitcher that you want him to be. So the Royals clearly like what they saw out of this guy. Didn't think he'd maybe be around for them the second time around, and they wanted him. That's why they got him.
So now,
I mean, whatever you say.
Colorado, like
the Royals are not very orthodox on their draft picks. They have not been for a while.
Well, so I mean, last year they went pretty much. I mean, Asa Lacy was the best college pitcher available.
Yeah,
they picked him. The year before, Bobby Witt was the best high school bat available. They picked him. So I mean, they've been. I feel like they've been a little more consistent the past couple of years. But this one definitely not. This is the first like super surprise pick. Like the Pirates was a bit of a surprise, but this is probably the first super surprise pick of the draft. I mean, the guys
if their fans
the top 30
are anything like what we've been seeing on Twitter, right, about the Pirates pick, they're burning down Kauffman Stadium right now.
Imagine being a Royals fan and being like, "Oh my God, we're gonna get Kumar." Frank Mazzucato.
Right.
Who the hell is this guy?
Again, put the Pirates in the situation. The Pirates are picking right here, and you thought Kumar was coming.
Yeah.
And this is what you.
So if you're the Rockies here, do you take either Watson, House, or Kumar? Like, you got your pick.
I think if you're the Rockies here, you gotta go Kumar.
Can you imagine if you're the Rockies right now and you're sitting there at 8 and all 3 of those guys are available to you? There's no way you imagine that.
Here's the other thing. The Rockies have no GM. They have no assistant GM. They have no analytics team. Who so have they even scouted? Like, they might be taking Rocker because they're like, well, that's who we know, right? That we saw him pitch. We're taking Rocker.
Let me call Keith Law real quick. Hey, who should we take? Who do you have ranked highest?
It's actually going to be Benny Montgomery. Benny Montgomery, who I like that pick. He's a Pennsylvania kid.
Clint Hurdle's the one announcing the pick, right? Clint Hurdle is looking at Baseball America right now, and he's literally making the pick. Like, he's not announcing it. Clint Hurdle's up there. His job is to find out who's the best available on Baseball America's list, and to walk up to the podium and say that name. That's it.
Were you serious when they were taking Benny Montgomery?
They're taking Benny Montgomery. Yep. Who actually like they have him ranked kind of low, but Benny Montgomery is
he was He's one of the better players available.
He's a good high school bat, and I think it was Baseball America had this projection. They had Benny Montgomery going 8th to the Rockies, so it must be a guy the Rockies have kind of been honed in on for a while, because they have him. Baseball America has Benny Montgomery ranked 22nd, but they had Montgomery going to the Rockies 8th overall.
So this just adds to like the Kumar situation. Another team that passed on him.
Dropping.
It's interesting for the Angels.
Another team I feel bad if he goes to, because they can't develop pitching either. So,
I mean,
but
the
boy,
Angels
they
also,
need it.
though, the Angels last year took college pitcher, right? With Reed Detmers.
Yep.
And so if you take Detmers and Rocker back-to-back years, that's the makings of a pretty decent rotation now, with Shohei Ohtani already there.
Yeah, I mean, you just have Shohei Ohtani still. That's all.
Yeah.
And Mike Trout
and Mike
still
Trout,
exists.
Yeah, that guy would keep forgetting about Mike Trout.
And Tyler's favorite boy over at third base that no one ever talks about.
Right, the most underrated player.
I
in
know.
baseball. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean,
although he's pretty bad this year.
This could definitely be a rocker pick. And I mean, if you're the Angels, so we keep saying this now, but like if you're the Angels, Kumar Rocker's right there.
And then if he slips past the Angels, the Mets would probably be a very good team for him. A team that can actually develop some pitching.
Yeah, this is crazy. I didn't think Rocker was going to fall this far. I thought he would go to Boston.
To Boston, right?
Yeah, I guess.
There's Clint.
But Boston also probably did not expect that Mayer would drop all the way to them.
Also true.
Yeah. Interesting.
I don't think the Pirates thought Mayer would be there until about an hour and 15 minutes ago.
It's been a pretty crazy top 10. Noah Heil said on Twitter that like there wasn't a single mock draft that had like any of this close. Like none of them were close to what happened. So it's kind of crazy. I mean, no one had the Pirates taking Davis. Except
most of the time it was like a joke.
Keith Law had had him second.
Okay.
I think
he had him rated number one, I think, but maybe not.
He had him. He said he had him 1 and 1A with Mayer is what he sent out. But I guess Peter Gammons like 3 months ago, we all mocked him when he was like, Davis is the consensus number 1 pick, and everybody was like, "Oh, you're old." People didn't even realize Peter Gammons was still alive. I didn't know Peter Gammons was still alive until that tweet. But hey, Peter knew this whole time.
That's honestly why I follow Peter Gammon, just to make sure he still is there. You see him pop up every once in a while with, like 13 commas in a row, 4 Fs, It's like, oh, that's right. Good. I'm glad. Peter Gammons is still alive and with us. That makes me happy.
Let me just say.
He sat on his phone. Yeah.
This kid needs to eat a cheeseburger or something. That is a scrawny human being.
He's going to fill out.
And the fact that he could get his exit velocity at 103 is pretty freaking impressive for how scrawny that fella is.
Yeah, he's a tiny dude. We're getting some quotes now from Ben Sherrington. We did have a lot of debate. There's good players at the top of this draft. Ultimately, as we got done with our meetings, we had Henry at the top of our board. You're obviously betting on talent at top of the draft. You're also betting on the person. We believe in the person.
I just wonder how true that is. Like, you're going to say that, though. Like, you're not going to come out and say, well, he was our third, but we knew he was going to sign for less. Plus, that's how it make you feel if you're Henry Davis. Like, Jesus.
Well, at the same point, I mean, you have these conversations with all these players. Like, hey, here's the deal. We have you maybe all ranked the same. It's going to come down to this and this. I don't know. I don't know if you can 100% dispel that, but yeah, that's the quote right there.
I mean, I'm sure
he's saying he was
some people did. I just question how much, like, universally, if that was the number one guy on the board. I mean, it could have been, though. We're just saying it. It could have been. It could have been. And it just so happens also to the benefit that he will sign for less. It's a win-win.
We did not take him because he's a catcher, but I know one of the things he feels strongly about is helping the guys around him, especially the pitchers. We took him because he was the top player on our board. So he repeated that.
Yeah, like, again, Charrington doesn't, like, he's not, to me, he's not going to give anything.
Well, clearly he didn't. Not a single person had this pick other than Peter Gammons.
Right.
At the end of the day, you took him 1-1, so he better freaking work.
Yep, that too. I mean, Ben Charrington's got a lot riding on this draft. I mean, this is probably going to be their only first overall pick, hopefully. He said that the goal isn't to have too many of these, right? So yeah, I mean, he's betting on it. He wouldn't have picked him if he didn't think he was good enough.
Good old Garrett Anderson, man, he looks old. What happened to Garrett Anderson?
We're still real early. And as we all know, most of the Pirates' better players are not first rounders.
Yeah, what Hayes was a first round pick.
Ish.
Yeah.
Reynolds was a second round pick. But again, to go back, like, there's talent to be had in the second round. So they're going to be able to pick up another very talented individual with this 37th pick.
Well, and actually, let's just kind of bring this up a little bit.
Sam Bachman.
That's the pick
for the Angels.
Wow.
All right.
So
this is all over the place.
Another pitcher from Miami.
Fellas, we're just gonna sit here and FaceTime all night and watch this entire thing develop. Because I don't know what the fuck is going on.
So Kumar was not the number 2 college pitcher.
Yeah.
They took someone from the freaking MAC.
Right. Miami of Ohio.
Hey, they probably thought Big Ben went there. Let's do it.
Big Ben, Sam, all the same.
That's probably exactly what their thought process was.
I guarantee it.
They noticed that the shoulder holds up until about age 36. So they're like, oh, we're good.
Yeah.
The elbow, my bad. The elbow.
Wow.
See,
this is crazy.
Listen,
this is a bit crazy.
The actual, he was
a little wild tonight.
From like from a dominance standpoint, this guy didn't even put up near the amount of numbers that Rocker did either. As far as his last year. So from 2019 was first team All MAC, but he had a 3.93 ERA over 14 starts. So
right.
Rocker did a lot more than that, but I guess it is crazy that Rocker's fallen.
I mean, dude, teams just really, obviously they have to, there's no answer to this. Like, they just really must have their doubts on Rocker being a starting pitcher.
Yeah.
And
we're now at pick number 10.
Obviously, lighter is lighter. Doesn't answer this, but I guess for the people that still are feeling Rocker, like, same situation, Pirates, Rocker, no doubt, do it or you're an idiot. We're already here, still no Rocker.
Now, Bachman was one of like those next. He was like that next tier of college pitcher that was available.
Right.
But yeah.
But he wasn't Kumar Rocker.
But he wasn't Kumar Rocker. Yeah.
Everyone was talking about Kumar Rocker last year, and then this year he was still being talked about. Like to Tyler's degree too. And you said like we all have, but like Tyler really hit it. Like he was a good ass pitcher this year. Yeah, there was concerns, but it wasn't like he just fell off a cliff by any means. He was still a pretty dominant pitcher. It's just you found flaws.
Kumar Rocker to the Mets. Kumar Rocker to the Mets.
Wow, Tyler. He talked about it. The Mets have Kumar Rocker. Who would have thought? Did the Mets even think that was a chance?
Yeah, 10th overall pick.
Like the Mets have Kumar Rocker right now. That's a win.
And the Pirates are going to get Will Bednar later.
That would be a very good win. It won't happen, but I mean, it
Yeah,
could.
He's not going to fall that far, unfortunately. Yeah.
If the Royals keep drafting, it could. But wow.
Let's just do this. Let's just keep it at Louisville and draft Alex Pinellas in the second round.
Sure. Whatever you say, Jim.
I mean, if you're a Mets fan, you have to be excited about that.
Oh, for sure.
There's no chance you thought you were getting him.
Nope. Not at all.
And he's not going to be cheap to sign.
So let's put on the other foot too. Like you're now Kumar Rocker. You're going to the Mets. It is what it is, but it's
Kumar,
not Pittsburgh.
yeah.
It's not Kansas City. It's not Boston was a possibility.
Yeah.
It wasn't Boston. It's New York. It's the Mets. That's pretty cool for him. I mean, who would have thought Kumar Rocker be going to the Mets? None of us.
You could even potentially see Rocker. I don't know. I'm curious now because he could do kind of like a Mark Appel. Does Rocker not sign?
Yeah. That's the possibility.
Go back to Vanderbilt.
I think it's absolutely a possibility because you're looking at the 10th overall pick now when you're projected a year ago at 1-1. You're going to be an overslot guy no matter what.
So how's that change the Mets draft? We're thinking underslot. Now the Mets, with him falling, they're like, all right, well, we're just going to throw some cash at him because we got
You
Rocker.
have to.
I mean, now they're going to have to.
Yeah.
They're not going to get those guys later on, right? They got to play some numbers games because you got to, you got to go over slot here with Rocker, or you lose out. But you got Rocker.
You got Rocker, but you got to sign it. He's got to put that name on that piece of paper first.
So what do you think your chances are? What do you think your chances are that he signs or goes back?
So the number 10 pick gets the slot value is $4.7 million, by the way. $4.7 million, which is roughly $4 million less than 1-1. The Pirates have.
What about 1-2?
So 1-1's 8.4, 1-2 is 7.7.
And
so do you go back and go get an extra $3 million?
7, right?
Yeah, I don't know what's going to... I mean, the Mets only have $9 million in their whole draft pool compared to the Pirates have 14.
I think there's a better than decent chance that he goes back to school, and you're looking at maybe a top 3 pick next year, no matter what. If he has a good year and can show something more.
If he does.
Yeah.
So. No,
I mean, I would sign the contract for the $4 million and be like, all right, peace. I'm done. I'm going to go throw some fastballs. I'm done.
How about this? How about this galaxy brain right here?
I think you're going where I wanted to.
The Mets still need Adam Frazier. How about Kumar Rocker for Adam Frazier?
Actually,
player redeemed later because I don't think they can make the trade.
So right, they're going to the Trey Turner route. Was that Trey? Yeah, it was Trey Turner, right?
Yeah.
So my galaxy brain was he doesn't sign, and the Pirates draft Kumar Rocker next year. So could you imagine that, right? Tank for Kumar. You get Henry Davis, and then next year you get Kumar Rocker, who shows he can do it, and the Pirates get him with presumably the third, maybe fourth pick. How's that for Galaxy Brain?
Yeah, that could also happen.
We assume Elijah is number one. Pirates aren't getting the number one.
He's going to be the one to watch out for, though, that might not sign.
So can you imagine that?
This year, I mean.
Can you imagine that? He doesn't sign. He goes back to Vandy. He does, because the thing is, I feel like if he doesn't, like if he shows he has these issues, he runs the risk of probably dropping even further than 10. Like now people are, it's official. He's not that pitcher. He's not that guy. But if he goes back and he does prove himself.
You're not that guy, pal.
If he does go back and proves himself.
Brady House, by the way, to the Nationals.
Is there real potential the Pirates could, after all this, get Kumar Rocker?
Double Kumar.
I would be. I mean, I brought it up, but I'll be surprised if he doesn't sign. I think he'll sign. I mean, the Mets are probably going to be able to work something out like the $5 million range, and it's hard to turn down $5 million.
But are you less on that board where you think he will sign now that he went 10th?
Oh yeah. Like if he had gone top 5, he was an automatic sign, right?
Yeah.
But now that he's gone 10th, it's definitely something that he'll think about. But I think they figure it out. I don't think the Mets would have taken him either. The Mets probably called him and was like, "Hey," I think that's the other thing too. Like the teams are talking to these players the whole time. The Mets, I don't think, are taking Kumar Rocker if they don't think he's, going to work with them.
I don't know. I mean, work with them is different than is he going to sign with them?
You're right. It is. But I'm sure
he'll hear him out, but
I'm sure they got some sort of verbal agreement from Rocker saying, "Hey, I'd like to not go back to Vandy," right? So, because otherwise he just keeps dropping, right?
Yeah. This is interesting.
I mean, if he was going to keep dropping, then I would be the Pirates and just draft him in the second round or at 37 and draft nobody the rest of the way. We're good. Henry Davis, just Kumar, we're good. We're going to take Tyler Sweeney.
All three of us get drafted
next
to the Pirates.
20 rounds.
So we'll give you $1. I should take it. They're going to underslot me for $1 and I'm going to sign as a 3rd round pick.
Do I have to actually pitch? No. All right, we're good then. Give me $1.
Can I just have a jersey?
How about Watson still being on the board, though?
Yes.
And Jim was out here trying to tell us he was going to go 1-1. What a moron.
I didn't say he was going to be 1-1. I said there was a shot. He was definitely one of the 5 people who had a chance.
It has been a very strange draft.
Fangraph says they think they already know who number 12 is, but they're going to wait until number 11 is announced to leak number 12.
Oh, interesting.
So who's number 11 then?
11 is Brady House.
Okay.
Yeah. Brady House is going to go to Washington at 11.
I'm going to be honest. I'm probably this is all weekend, right?
So the first round and then the competitive balance picks are tonight. And then I think tomorrow is 2 through 5. And then I think the next day is the rest of
the rest.
Yeah.
Would they get
I'm just waiting it out. I'm just waiting it out because there's a kid from around here that might get drafted.
Well, he might go to the Mets.
First 90.
He might go to the Mets.
There's a lefty that throws 96 that committed to Ohio State that could get drafted.
There's a kid here in Louisville, high school kid who he was first team All-American. He was actually the Gatorade National High School Player of the Year. But most projections I see have him going in the 2nd round. So that could be another person who.
If I have to hear another goddamn Louisville person drafted by the Pirates,
he's a Louisville full commit. He's committed to play at the University of Louisville. And yeah, he will probably be a second round pick, if I had to guess. Dalen Lyle, outfielder, broke all of Joe Adell's high school records.
Wow. Well, nobody cares because that's not home of Ben Gamble, which I just showed you the other day. So
that's true.
He's no Ben Gamble. That's it. No
Who
Ben
is?
Gamble.
No one is. Nobody is.
Even Ben Gamal tries to be Ben Gamble, but he can't be Ben Gamble.
Oh, what a crazy first 10 picks. What if Watson falls? What if Watson's like, I'm not going to sign now? Because Watson's going to what? NC State? Yeah. NC State commitment. He falls all the way. He's just telling teams now.
No, Wake Forest.
Point, I'm not going to sign.
Wait, never mind.
Wake Forest High School.
Yeah.
North Carolina State College commit. I can understand the confusion there, though.
I saw Wake Forest. Yeah, I'm like, wait, Wake Forest. Like, oh, wait, never. That says high school.
But no, I said, I mean, I doubt that happens, but that'd be kind of cool. And then the Pirates could just basically spend the rest of their money on Watson.
That is a very long way to fall.
That would be a long way to fall. He would basically have to tell teams at this point, I'm going to college.
It's got to pull the Josh Bell. And then the Pirates say, well, we'll give you $5 million.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to college.
Right.
But then you're eating away most of your I don't know how much you can pay that second pick, right? The slot value, by the way, for the Pirates' second pick is just about $2 million, $1.999 million. So depending on how low they can get Davis to sign, they could reach for that second pick.
You could have 3.
Oh yeah, for sure. You could do 3. Which would basically be the equivalent of a 22nd round pick. A 22nd overall pick.
How long are we going to wait to announce this Washington Nationals pick?
I don't know what they're doing. The pick's been in for like 10 minutes.
Didn't know I was watching the NFL draft.
Well, guys, if you were wondering, Bucko Mike has already given the Pirates a grade. He's given the Pirates a grade.
Interesting.
He said the Mets and the Rangers clearly with the steals in this draft. Pirates get an F-.
An F-. Oh, I love Bucko Mike. I just pray he doesn't try to call me right now.
Oh man.
Oh man.
That's great. Bucko Mike not happy with either of Ben Cherington's first round picks.
Well, yeah, we already know he hates Nick Gonzalez. He is
He's
he
dead
doesn't compare him to
that.
Jack Wilson. Who's he compare him to? There's got to be a person.
I think he says he's Jack Wilson light.
Right.
Yeah.
So okay. But regardless, yeah, he's Jack Wilson light. And then Henry Davis has already been Tony Sanchez for Bucko Mike. So it's not looking too good for Cherington.
No.
Not from the voice of the Pirates, at least.
And what sucks is 99% of his predictions come true. Actually, he doesn't compare Davis to Tony Sanchez. He compares him to Keith Osick.
I'm actually sad because
Brady
Bucko
House.
Mike clearly has sources. So I don't know why he didn't leak the pick. We all know he has great sources.
Seattle going with a catcher with number 12, by the way. Harry Ford going number 12.
Probably the better
People didn't
catcher.
know they need to watch North Shore 9 rather than ESPN.
Harry Ford.
Oh my God. If I have to watch another freaking swing compared to a major leaguer, I'm going to lose my mind.
Bucko Mike's in the stream. So he also wanted to confirm
Nice.
Chris Snyder. is one of the comps.
Chris Snyder.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Bucko Mike needs to call in so he can give us the scouting report. I guess that's it. Keith Osick, Chris Snyder.
Is he anywhere comparable to Humberto Cota?
God, I wish.
What about J.R. House?
J.R. House dropped bombs. We won't say that comment.
All right.
Jack Leiter looks 12.
So Harry Ford.
Harry Ford.
These guys keep dropping. This is interesting.
Watson's still out there. Yeah,
I don't know. So let me ask. I mean, I'm sure this is part of it too. But again, like with just not a whole lot of information gained, right?
Mm.
Do you think that's also part of it? Just it's not so much people are dropping; it's just that people like the ranges are just so out there right now.
Yeah, I mean, it could just be that these prospect sites who rank these guys and do these mock drafts, they don't really have. They just hadn't been able to see all these guys because there's less showcases and things like that. So, that could be a part of it. It could be signability issues. It could be the Pirates maybe blew up everything with taking Davis, and that kind of just started a domino effect.
Pirates blew up everything.
Because I mean, if you think about it, nobody's mock draft had the Pirates taking Davis, right? So, yeah, that's gonna change things if the number 1 overall pick is wrong.
They were, however, everyone was able to watch Kumar Rocker, and he dropped the 10. So there's that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Boy,
That's
this
true.
is that excited though.
Leiter to the Rangers. I guess he's on TV now. He's on ESPN right now.
Yeah.
I had MLB on.
Mm-hmm.
Dork.
Yeah. I'm just reading some of these. Just I'm going through some local media takes.
I feel so bad for you.
I'm sure they're very rational.
God.
That said it all.
Andrew Filipponi points out that Henry Davis is 21, which is older than Jack Leiter and older than all the high school shortstops.
Henry Davis is 20. Like, he can just now order a beer. And we're acting like he's 25 and Will Craig.
He makes a good point, though. Something I didn't consider. They are older. He is older than the high school shortstops. So
he is older than the high school shortstops.
Yes, you did not consider that one.
What I just find funny is that the people who, and I think Tyler, you mentioned it, but all the people who were saying draft Leiter, because he's closer, are now like up in arms because they drafted the college bat, who's also closer.
Right.
Like,
and that's literally what I was going with. Like, that debunks that argument. Now, you could argue who's the better player, but that's the college bat. That's the window. That takes away that argument that they're just kicking the can down the road. There's, all that other stuff, right? The timeline's the same.
I will say this, I'm kind of surprised. So Chris Muller put out a poll 45 minutes ago, said, how do you feel about the Henry Davis pick? And now, I mean, Muller's on the Fan, so his audience is going to be kind of those people who listen to the Fan. 65% of people said they either like it or love it. 35% said they either dislike it or hate it.
I'm not surprised. I think I wouldn't be surprised either way. Like, again, that's why I was kind of curious how the reaction would be because of that reason. I think people see later and they know later, but again, I think a lot of the argument was around just the age, getting someone that's closer, and this presents that. So even if it's not lighter, those people still might be happy and satisfied that it's that the college catcher, not a high school kid.
Philly's pick is in.
This can't be right, though. I mean, people in Pittsburgh can't be happy. I don't. This isn't natural.
Oh, they're not.
I don't like a 65% happy rate.
Yeah, I mean, 65% of the poll says they're happy. And then if you go to a different poll, right? Let's do the Pirates Prospect Talk account. At Talk Pirates.
Mm-hmm.
His followers are going to be a little bit more in tune with what's happening, right? I feel like you have a much more niche audience there, but 89% are happy with the Henry Davis pick.
Oh, wow. Okay, then.
So I don't know about happy with it, but
what were the
I'm
options?
more content.
It was just happy or not happy.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I would lean happy, but ish, I guess, because they didn't take a Khalil Watson. That's, yeah, I know he was mocked more up there, but he's a project.
Yeah.
They took a guy that's close, which to us, which we've talked about 1,000 times. Where's this window going to be? And I think Sherrington might have shown a little bit of his hand here where
he made it clear
we need to compete a lot sooner.
Which, again, that kind of goes back to what we were talking about, right? Like, Brian Reynolds and Ke'Bryan Hayes are here. So what are you going to do to win while they're here? And I guess this pick kind of shows this. They wanted somebody who's going to be here while those two are here.
And it's also kind of the perfect storm for them where there's not a top flight high school player. They're all kind of in the same basket. So we decided to go with the guy that is closer to the majors, but also we don't want to say safer again, but he's the guy that is he's a higher floor.
I was just going to say, so let's take out safer. Let's just say high floor. Let's just put out there. He has probably the highest floor of them all.
Yeah.
Is that a safer word to say?
I think that's a good way to put it, right? Highest floor. And if you're going to go ceiling, I think what's interesting about this is, Davis has the highest floor, but if you really think about it, Davis's ceiling isn't much different probably than the shortstop guys. Right? I mean, if you hit a shortstop and he becomes a superstar, let's say they pick Marcelo Mayer and he does become Corey Seager, right?
Sure.
Henry Davis's ceiling, though, is a catcher who can hit. Like, are we talking about Will Smith, right? Is that maybe the ceiling? Because, like, how much difference is there between a Will Smith and a Corey Seager?
What a fanboy.
But in all reality, though, back in the day, we were talking about shortstops that just fielded. They did not have a bat. Now we're at a position in the MLB where shortstops are the elite players.
They're the LeBron James.
Maybe our guy Ben Sherrington's playing 3D chess and he knows the catcher's next.
Could be.
Yeah. So, and to go back about the timeline and stuff, like, I mean, it puts me at ease because that was the thing that worried me. That's what maybe, again, we're talking about Brian Reynolds mostly. Is he a trade chip? A lot of people, especially we know, Matt, right? Blue Put a Blast. Definitely not, because he'll give you the middle finger every time. So he's not a trade chip. But I said before, I will never hate anyone for suggesting it based on what they feel this timeline is. Because like we said, with Hayes here with Reynolds here, there's a window. And if it's not going to be in that window, then truly, like, why have Reynolds here? You know, if he's not going to sign an extension. This answers, like you said, Jim, right? This helps answer that. I think he feels that they're close. This puts him that much closer. I just hope, which I don't think this is why it happened, but I just hope this pick wasn't made just for that. Like, that's why I didn't want Leiter because he's closer. Like, you still take best available. You know, you're not going to take Leiter just because he's a pitcher and just because he gets here quicker. If this truly is answering all boxes, like, that is a great pick. He's here with that window. It gets closer, maximizes the Pirates, you know, output and tenure with those guys, right? Reynolds and Hayes. He's more affordable, so therefore you can maximize the draft. Like, I truly hope this is all the reasons. Then we'll find out, of course, in a few years. But if it is all the reasons, this does make it a slam dunk pick. If he is the best talent, and he gets you best in the draft, and he's here now, and you get to maximize this window, then it ends up being a very, very great pick. Even if, to Tyler's degree, even if you look back on, let's say, 5 years later or whatever, and those shortstop ones become really good players, maybe there's that little bit of a difference. You got maybe 3 more years out of Henry Davis and this core, and you're competitive. It's a slam dunk. So there's the positive out of all this, guys.
Phillies took a high school pitcher.
Phillies that
Yeah. Which he was kind of right in that Andrew
15.
Painter. I think Baseball America had him 15th, so Phillies taking him 13th isn't really too far off that. But again, Watson's still falling. We should find out the Giants pick here soon on Twitter, I would think.
I'm kind of did the Giants. They didn't select, did they?
No, the Giants are now on the board.
I'm just curious of why. So I'm watching MLB, as I mentioned. They have the Giants on the screen, and then they're showing a bunch of clips of Albert Pujols. So that's why.
Which makes sense.
It was nonstop Albert Pujols highlights with the Cardinals. So I'm like, did they make a pick? And it was Albert Pujols?
All right.
Probably another Harold.
Hearing that Khalil Watson's free fall ends at 14 with the Giants. He's not 100% sure, but that's what he's hearing.
It's also what I'm hearing.
Watson's going 14th.
Good for him.
To the Giants.
That's a big fall.
Yeah,
I mean, like, I think he was in the conversation for 1-1.
If you ask MLB executive Burner, that would have been the Pirates pick.
Yeah.
Which was just not a good tweet
in the draft. And it doesn't matter if you're under 6 foot.
Right.
That was
Tyler?
such a dumb tweet. He's under 6 foot and he's the most explosive athlete. Can he play baseball? Well, Lindor and Mookie Betts are under 6 foot. Okay, can he play baseball?
Yeah.
I think the answer to that question though is yes. He can play baseball.
I think that's very questionable
on Kyle Hendricks.
Right. Only a select few can do that.
That's the big problem with this entire MLB draft thing is we just he's the same size as this guy. Let's take him.
Did I just
Which I think everyone is fallen in love with that with shortstops, where we all fall in love with a 6'3" shortstop that's undersized weight wise, and think he's the next Troy Tulowitzki / Corey Seager / whatever, Carlos Correa. The MLB draft is so sizist.
I agree. So there's definitely a sizist bias. But I mean, that kind of goes back to the whole developing, right? So you can't develop size, right? That's like the one thing you can't develop. So if you pick a guy who looks like he it looks like he could become what you want him to. Maybe that just it gets in your head that, hey, this is what I want this guy to end up looking like. Maybe I can get him to get to that point. So I guess I understand the sizeism, but
That's every sport, though.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. And Leiter, though, kind of bucks that trend. I mean, Leiter seems like a small pitcher. I think that was one of the things people were kind of worried about, is he kind of broke down a little bit halfway through the year. Is this a guy who's going to be able to handle a 162 game season and 33 starts, right? Whereas, you probably didn't have that concern with Rocker, right? Because of his size and just it
was the opposite
stamina and the workhorse that he could be, So it plays a part, though, but it's not everything, right? I mean, clearly.
Yeah, with Rocker, is it going to be CC Sabathia?
Right.
It also does play a part where the Vandy coaches just burn their pitchers. They don't care about pitch counts.
I'm kind of fine with that, though, in college. Like, here's the thing with college pitchers: you're pitching every 7 days. Like, these guys are. I'm okay with this if a 20-year-old wants to throw 120 pitches every 7 days. I mean, they've been doing it forever.
Get it?
They did that in high school. They did that when they were in
I did not do that in high school.
ball.
I mean,
travel ball, yeah.
Colin Dunlap did that in two cities on the same day while eating a hot dog on the way. So, can be done.
Yeah, exactly. Now they're saying Watson to the Giants might not be done. It's looking like it's going to be Bednar.
They just said Bednar on the ESPN thing.
Yeah.
Bednar getting some love.
Yeah, looks like it's going to be Bednar. Yep.
So the free fall continues.
Free fall, keep going.
Think like talking about this 2 weeks ago. Bednar being drafted above Watson.
Yeah, that's crazy. I wonder how far Gunnar Hoagland. I wonder how far he's going to drop. I mean, he was a top 10
Pirates.
guy. He was a top 10 guy until needing surgery, right? So if he is someone who can continue to fall, I think most drafts I see have him kind of going in the 20 range. But if some teams, maybe with some of these other guys dropping, allow Hoagland to fall, that could be an intriguing person to get second in the second round if he could fall that far. I mean, obviously he would be out all of next year, right? But again, he's a top 10 arm.
Well, I think it'd be great because they finally get him. And like, would that pan out? I mean, there's your guy. Like, he falls into the Pirates' lap, and that's the guy they get. You're talking about, like you said, a top 10 talent.
Yeah.
Does he fall? I mean, of course, he got to fall that far, but if teams keep taking these guys, could you imagine that? I don't know. Like, we're getting ahead of ourselves. I'm not going to go there. I'm just now salivating at this. Henry Davis and Gunnar.
Light me on fire. Just because I have to hear Jim talk about it.
I love it. I get to talk about Henry Davis now forever. And hopefully he ends up being good. So
no, but that's the worst part. If he is good, then I have to give you credit.
That's true.
And you can't hope that he's not good because you want to troll Jim.
Yeah.
But he's on the Pirates, so he has to be good.
Yeah.
It's a lose win for us, Tyler. It's a win-win for
there's not a win in this scenario for us.
Well, there's a win
if he's good.
Nope. If he's good, it's still going to be miserable no matter what.
What if Henry Davis leads the Pirates to a World Series championship the same year Lamar Jackson wins a Super Bowl for the Ravens?
You will never see me on a podcast ever again because I'll be dead.
Like, on one hand, the Pirates won
I'm
World
looking
Series.
out the window at a roof right now. I could jump.
The Pirates have won a World Series and are like you witnessed the Pirates win a World Series. You're elated. This happened. You saw it. And then Lamar Jackson wins a Super Bowl. And you realize that Jim's right there on your screen. Also, forever.
Yeah, you'd love that. Would love that.
Oh, head first off this roof right now.
Tyler's like, you know what? I saw the World Series. I'm good. Take care,
I'm
everyone.
done. Thankfully, I don't have to worry about the Lamar Jackson part.
Oh,
He sucks.
That's what you think. That's what you think.
Well, I guess
So
you got to
Bednar
figure
is gone.
if Davis makes up. I mean, you figure even if Davis leads them to World Series, it's gonna be like what 2025 by that time.
Yeah.
Do
2025 World Series.
Do running backs have that long of career that Lamar Jackson would be here in 2025 to win a Super Bowl? When was he drafted? I feel like by that time. Yeah. I don't know. I
So
guess
Will
Le'Veon
Bednar.
Bell caught on. Maybe Lamar Jackson could catch on to some other team and win a Super Bowl. All right, Jim. I could see it. Jim doesn't seem too pleased. It's okay if it's on the other end, but once you start talking trash on his players, then he gets silent.
Can you imagine being
I'm just gonna
David?
wait. I'm just gonna wait until.
Can you imagine being David Bednar right now and watching your little brother make a lot more money than you
Yeah,
just by being picked?
I mean,
and
honestly,
you're like, I already made it, and he has signing bonus.
Yeah, Will's gonna get way more money.
Yeah,
I mean,
and just be like, I already made it, and he's got more money than me.
I'd be happy for him though, because now little brother gets to pay for you.
That's true.
You know?
He gets to pay for everything.
Right.
I just want to see Watson keep falling.
It's not going to fall that far,
Not.
but it's a fun thought process.
Unless at this point he's already told teams don't pick me. Like he may at this point just be like, I'm going to school.
I mean, at this point though, it's kind of. I mean, like, this is far.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a guy who was in the conversation for 1-1.
I mean,
top 10, like for sure.
Jim, you
But in
said
that
it though
conversation.
about Fangraph saying he was the pick, so you got to wonder, was that the conversation that happened?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, he said, don't sign.
I'm not signing.
It's possibly. He could just said, hey, you know what? Unless you're giving me a ton of money, I'm going to college. I feel like though we would know that for now,
But I mean, it could be
if no one knew it was happening until right about now.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Milwaukee is now on the board. I haven't seen anything leaked yet about the Brewers.
I'm interested in the next one, the Marlins. Like, who are the Marlins going to scoop up now?
Well, you're interested about the Marlins because that's your strat team.
It is, but I also
my team.
I enjoy the Marlins.
My team picked the 39th ranked dude out of Connecticut.
Actually, I wasn't even thinking about that for TFL reasons. I forgot. Jim's pissed.
Yeah, so I got that going for me.
Right. No, I've always watched the Marlins though down here until Bally's took over, and now I don't have Bally's network, so I can't watch the Marlins. Which is why I couldn't watch the Marlins Pirate series unless I got that free stream from someone. But
so I use VPN.
Let's just have Milwaukee take Khalil, and then he doesn't sign. I'm cool with that.
Sal Frelick is another guy who's fallen. I think he was like a top 10 guy in a few mock drafts that I saw. He's still available.
And he's 5'9", so he's explosive.
Oh, he's
gonna sign a $300 million
he's an
contract.
athlete. Yeah, he's an athlete. Yeah, I don't see anything here yet. How about Major League Baseball though? Just tweeted out a picture that says, the MLB fraternity adds some new members, #Vandy Boys, right? And they have Rocker and Lighter, and then they have some major leaguers in there too, and they don't include Brian Reynolds.
Wow. Is it because
Talk
they
about a
didn't
snub.
realize that he went to Vanderbilt?
Talk about a snub. They have David Price, they got Sonny Gray, Dansby Swanson,
Okay.
and Walker Buehler.
I'll say, was it just all pitchers? But then he obviously said Dansby.
Dansby Swanson's in there. Yeah.
That is slap. I mean, Dansby Swanson and not Brian Reynolds. Jeez.
Frelick's going to Milwaukee.
And also, they're welcome to the fraternity. We don't know if Rocker's going to sign.
Got you. The Pirates have added to their Louisville fraternity.
Oh yeah,
So
who
that's
did Milwaukee get? What pitcher?
Frelick. They're going with Sal Frelick. So he is off. He was probably the one of the top 3 people available, I would imagine, according to most reports.
Yeah, Baseball America had him.
Bucko Mike's sources were wrong, though. He said that they were going to take the Texas pitcher. Bucko Mike said Texas pitcher, but it's going to be Frelick.
Well, that's right. He was due. He's got 99 in a row, correct?
That's
so.
True. That's
he
was due
1%.
for at least one bad one. Yeah, that's true. It's okay.
So I guess the Marlins are now up. And again, I feel it has to at this point. I mean, Khalil Watson just must. It's done. It's over. He can't be signing now. He's going to college.
Yeah, I don't know.
Unless he goes to Miami. What if he goes to Miami, Joe?
You'd probably be happy about that.
I would. Just give up your entire bonus. Get Khalil Watson. I mean, they have pitching now. I mean, ever since Jim Benedict left them, they got pitching.
Who's Miami's been? Who have they been tied to?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't think it matters at this point because the draft's just screwed up.
True. Everything's got it messed up. Harry Ford was who Baseball America had them taking, so he's long gone.
So who's Milwaukee taking?
Frelick.
So Watson continues to slide.
Yep.
Interesting. He's only got to slide 22 more or 21 more.
Yeah, I mean, he's like halfway there.
Captain Jack asks, do the Pirates have to pick a pitcher in the second round? Your thoughts?
No. I think what you do is you just kind of look to see what happens here. There's going to be some people who fall. I think you use this money that you're probably potentially saving with this first overall pick, and you go over slot here.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to depend on who it is. Could it be a pitcher? Yeah. Could it be a hitter? Yeah. I would take the best available player at 37.
Just
like
point
whoever
blank,
you think.
period.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Point blank period. Whoever you think is going to be the best, whoever the best player on your board is at 37 who's available, that's who you're taking. So.
It might be Khalil Watson. But I'm with you too. If it just happens to be a pitcher, it happens to be a pitcher. I mean, it just comes down to who's available, and I'm with you. I mean, if you find some just this value talent that just dropped to this number, you're saying we got this cash, let's do it. We can do it.
Yeah, I think positions are out the window.
Absolutely. I think the goal, of course, is to target lots of pitching, but I don't think it's specific to any round. I don't think it's like, well, it's a second round, so we have to get a pitcher here, or it's a third round, we got a pitcher. You're going to hammer pitching, but whoever just falls to you right here, you take.
We've got a quote from Henry Davis. It was
Stan
clear,
account or actual Henry Davis?
This is a quote from Henry Davis. It was clear that they're all chasing the same thing, and they're chasing greatness for the Pirates. They see the vision where they can be great, they can win the World Series, and just being able to contribute a teeny bit going toward that goal. I'm super excited. I'm ready to go.
Can't wait to hear Robbie interview him.
What was that?
Has that already happened?
Can't wait to hear Robbie interview him.
Right. Yeah. Once Robbie interviews him, I'm sure he'll really want to go.
Captain Jack says,
What's
but
kind of
we
interesting-
need pitching.
Another interesting thing here. So Henry Davis was undrafted out of high school, right? Undrafted out of high school. And, once he didn't have a ton of interest, he was kind of made up his mind to go to Louisville. He said that there was literally one Major League Baseball team that called him, and it was the Pirates. So they made him an offer.
Really?
And he said they made him an offer and said he wasn't interested. It wasn't very much at that point. And he said he was going to go to college. So the Pittsburgh Pirates, the only team to call him.
Which makes sense with the scouting department being exactly the same.
Actually, yeah. Because I was going to say, it's funny, too, because it's a new regime, but technically speaking, it was the same scouting.
Yeah.
So that just tells me everything I need to know. Pittsburgh Pirates scouting is superb. They seen this way before college teams even saw it. They knew it was
It is true.
They should have handed over more money so that they didn't have to waste a 1-1 draft pick on them.
But that is kind of interesting. So, I mean, they identified him 3 years ago, but yeah, now he's 1-1.
Good for them. Good job, Pirates. And that's why they all kept their jobs.
Exactly. Marlins on the clock. Who are they going to go with?
Khalil Watson.
Early indications are that Khalil Watson's fall will stop with Miami. But
is that for real?
But they were wrong about that with San Francisco.
Well, if that's true, then I take everything I say back. He should sign. Don't go to college. School's overrated. School sucks.
Now, the Marlins should just take this pick and then just waste it on somebody who's not going to sign. There is an addition here, though. It says that Khalil Watson at this point is a very tough sign. He would need a well over slot deal. So that could be why he's falling. I mean, at this point, it's basically like, yeah, I'll think about it, but you're going to have to give me a ton of money.
Right.
Yeah.
Come on, Jeter.
Which is kind of what we've been saying.
And that's what's tough. It's fallen so far that teams aren't going to really have that.
He's going to be
you're falling so far now. Yeah, you're falling into the area where these teams don't necessarily have that much draft.
Right. And
like they've literally can't even meet your demands.
Yeah.
We're looking at a point where the Royals might be able to sign him. That might be Royals and Pirates.
Yeah, I mean, the Pirates have a lot, depending on what they can get Davis to sign for.
But the Royals should have a good bit.
That's true. The Royals might have a better shot of signing him than the Marlins.
They're going to hand the guy $5 and be like, okay, let's go.
ESPN showing Jeter. He's just standing on a table. Doesn't really look like he knows what he's doing.
No. Watson's gone.
Marlins did it.
Is that it?
Marlins
did it. Wow. The Marlins get Watson.
Yep. Khalil Watson, number 16 overall.
That, Jim.
So they are going to have to go way under slot here in the second round.
I don't
Do
think
the Marlins have a
I don't
do the
think they're
Marlins have a
picking
competitive
anybody.
balance? Do they have a
I thought they
competitive
did.
balance pick? So that's going to have to probably be a college junior who they know
Yeah, they're number 31.
will sign. Yeah. So they'll have to take another. They'll have to take somebody from college with that one. Or they can take a high school player, but it'll have to be a reach. Interesting.
But it's worth it. That's a talent at number 16.
Oh yeah, it's a talent. It's just one of those things where like they need to make it now so that they can get him cheap enough so that it doesn't like completely hamper their draft.
Yeah. You have to have a strategy in there where we have to have a backup plan.
By the way, just to put it out here, because I've been saying it from day one, but the Marlins take a lot of flack, especially Jeter with his rebuild, and I've liked every part of it from day one. I thought all the trades were really good, so I just want to say that. That's all. The Marlins were in some real issues. Like, that's
Well, I know you think that way.
There's no way they were affording Stan, especially now the way he's playing. So, anyways, I give Marlins a lot of kudos to what they've done. Not that they handle things well down there, like their headquarters being in the Bahamas. It's a PO box, but anyways. Jeez, I mean,
yeah.
Player comp Jimmy Rollins
for Watson.
Yeah.
ESPN over here is showing Khalil Watson's swing, and then they're showing Jose Ramirez.
Yeah, I saw that too. I like how they just mentioned on ESPN. He started every game at shortstop.
They just showed him
hit leadoff every game on in high school from freshman year on. Okay. I'd hope they all would.
Yeah. Well, he also went to like a small school too. Like he dominated his district and all that.
They just showed a side by side of his swing and Gregorius. Very similar. It's no Mike Trout though.
Henry Davis on how he sees his game. I think I have the ability to be one of the rare catchers who impacts the ball on both sides. And that's what I strive for. A guy like JT Realmuto, a guy like Will Smith. So moving forward, that's the path I see myself going down.
I mean, you come close to any of them too. It's a solid pick.
Right. I mean, if Henry Davis ends up being Will Smith, that's a good pick. And I think we can kind of all, we can all agree that. Like a 5-win catcher, basically.
Is that all?
Give me that.
I mean, catchers are handed war.
Though.
They are handed war, right? But right. Exactly.
They are?
All right. Reds now on the board.
I hope they screw this one up.
So the Reds' first round pick last year, they picked the guy out of Pittsburgh. They picked Austin Hendrick from West Allegheny. He is I know he started off the year a little slow in A-ball. I don't know how he's doing now, but looks like they're going to go with the UCLA shortstop, Matt McClain.
Oh, okay.
Shortstop, Matt McClain.
I just got a little bit more comfy, boys.
So Matt McClain, Baseball America had him 12th overall. They had him as the number 3 college hitter behind Davis and Freilich. So college bat for the
So-
Reds.
So currently, by the way, Austin Hendrick is 30 games, 94 plate appearances. I'm sorry, 94 at bats, and a 191, but an on base percentage of 397.
Phew. That's kinda
With
crazy.
18 hits, 8 being doubles, 2 home runs, 3 stolen bases. So, yeah, he gets on base.
Yeah. 397 OBP is pretty nice.
I'm sure there's maybe some bad luck in there.
All those stats from that Florida league this year are weird because they're doing the automated strike zone, right? So I feel like everybody's on base percentages are a little high, just because I feel like the strike zone is smaller than what it probably has been in the past, and so I feel like the on base percentages have been kind of crazy in that league. And how many stolen bases does he have? Because that's another thing too.
3.
Okay, that's not a ton. That's another thing with that league too, that the pitchers are limited to 2 pickoff throws.
Yeah.
So another weird rule.
All right. Let's take the Twitter. I'm gonna finally venture out.
You're venturing into Twitter. It's actually it's calmed down. There's a few people still. I've seen both sides. There's some people who like it. There's some people who don't like it. But I said based off of the polls that some people have put out, it seems like for the most part, people are okay with this.
So how about we do this for everyone? Because we of course understand this is the Pirates podcast. And we've talked quite a bit about the Pirates and the strategy. We've talked about everyone else. So and we didn't plan on doing the whole draft. So why don't we go ahead? So the Reds picks in, I believe.
Not officially, but yeah, it looks like the Reds are. Well, it is now officially, I guess. But yeah, Matt McClain, who's the number 10 ranked player on Baseball America's board. So
Yeah.
the Reds get him at 17th, shortstop out of UCLA.
So it looks like they got a good pick.
Yeah, that seems like a pretty good pick. I mean, based off of rankings.
So what I was going to say is, why don't we do this? Why don't we go ahead and we'll wrap it up after. So the next pick's the Cardinals. And since that completes the, well, I guess up the Cubs, but who cares about the Cubs? Maybe we'll wrap this up after the Cardinals. We'll see who our foes in the division are.
Yeah, that works.
And then
Cardinals will probably pick somebody who he'll flame out and you won't ever hear from him for 5 years. And then he'll get called up in August one year randomly and hit 5 home runs against the Pirates.
This draft pick does not matter for the Cardinals. The 15th round draft pick does.
that's your,
Yeah.
That's
The
your
Cardinals
future
are it's
MVP.
great. It's crazy how good they are at just developing their talent. I mean, year in, year out, you kind of just bank on the Cardinals having 2 or 3 guys who they call up who produce. It's crazy. Them and the Dodgers. I can't think of 2 other teams that have better player development. I mean, as much as I hate the Cardinals, they are an incredibly well-run organization.
So what I was going to say is,
for a while.
we were bringing him up about Hoagland, but wasn't there a lot of connection here with the Cardinals?
I was hearing Hoagland to, well, the Yankees I knew was one, but I did see the Cardinals too. So Cardinals, Yankees, kind of in this area. Yeah, is what some people have. I actually wouldn't be surprised to see them take Hoagland here.
That'll be pretty annoying.
Yes, it would.
Although I do feel like the Cardinals' way has kind of died off.
Because they're not that good anymore.
Yeah, and we don't see as many of the when Johnny Peralta gets hurt, Diaz comes up and just rakes. We haven't seen that too much.
Yeah.
You know what we have seen? We've seen the Pirates trade cash considerations for some unknown first baseman who's done nothing but rake from the Cardinals.
It's true.
So they're so good at this talent and seeing it. How did that one slip away?
And
also, how the Pirates let
yeah.
Brian Goodwin slip away.
Well,
let's go back to the Cardinals. So not only Nagowski, which he's been awesome this first week, but let's kind of see how that plays out. But Adolis Garcia, right? Another guy Cardinals gave up on. He's an all-star. Randy Arozarena, Cardinals gave up on him too. So it's imagine if they hadn't given up those guys.
It's nice to see them fail.
It is. It looks like the Cardinals are tied to a college arm with this pick, is what people are saying. I don't see it leaked anywhere yet, but they were in on Sam Bachman, and Bachman went to the Mariners, right? He went 12th overall, the Mariners.
Yeah.
So we will see here. But yeah, college arm seems to be kind of the consensus. Here we go. Actually, Michael McGreevy from UC Santa Barbara. Right-handed pitcher. Michael McGreevy from UC Santa Barbara. He was...
Not gonna lie, I don't know who that is.
I think he's like in the 20s somewhere, so it's not a huge reach or anything. Pull my list up now. Baseball America has McGreevy.
It was
16th. It's like they basically went with the best college pitcher on the board. Although Ty Madden, Jordan Wicks are still available. So I don't know.
Michael McGreevy, also the pitcher in Little Big League. That's the fun facts I'm here for.
Thank God you're here.
Thank God you're sitting there in the dark, Tyler. What are you doing, by the way?
McGreevy.
It's like pitch black over there.
I wanted to get comfortable.
I see that.
And it got darker.
You got real
comfortable. It's now 9:15.
It got real dark. Yeah. That's so that kind of covers it though, right?
Yep.
That was interesting first round.
It definitely was. And what I was going to say out here too, with Tyler talking about the it's fun to watch the Cardinals, get worse and fall off a bit. I just wish the Pirates be capitalizing on it. Like they had to do it, now when it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
So I really just hate to see the Pirates turn this rebuild around, get competitive, and then the Cardinals start finding these people again. This NL Central is just so wide open, especially the Cubs. They're done. They're done. The Reds are still just
for a while
in no man's land. The Brewers they're there, and then the Cardinals are there. No one's exciting. No one's good.
Mm-hmm.
The Pirates have a farm system. They got Brian Hayes. They got Brian Reynolds. They just added this catcher. They can really turn this thing around. Like this again why it's very important 2023, because this division sucks. And it's not as if the Cardinals, all these teams we're talking about, it's not as if their farms are that good either that they're bringing talent in. Pirates really need to capitalize on this.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a big time for them. Like they need some of these prospects they have to pan out, and looks like they added a good one today.
Tyler, even though we can't see you, I still see your face. You want to hate it so bad, Tyler.
God,
I understand.
if he fails, Jim is never going to hear the end of it.
It's all his fault.
Gunnar Hoagland going to Toronto, by the way, with the next pick.
All right, so let's wrap this up. So Tyler, last words before we go.
It comes down to the bat's going to play. They have to find a spot for him. And if the bat plays, they will find a spot for him, but it's a very, very high floor pick.
And Jim?
Yeah, safe pick, high floor, but as I said, there's some incredible upside here. Catcher who can hit. If the catching can develop, then this is going to end up being a really good pick. And again, just the train keeps rolling from the University of Louisville. Catcher U, let's go.
Yeah, I think more shocked and surprised. It's not like I hate the pick. I don't love the pick. I'm comfortable with the pick. I understand it. It definitely sets a clear direction that it's coming sooner than later, right, for this club. But I think what's also maybe more intriguing, because we knew whoever they're going to pick was going to be a good player. It's 1-1. It's going to be a good player. We knew it was going to be good. Just who was it going to be, right? So I think what's more intriguing is who's the next guy. That's what I'm now interested to seeing that it's your boy from Catcher U. So who are they going to be able to get this second round? Or not real, yeah, the second round, and that could even change this farm. So with that said, we'll wrap this up. Obviously, this upcoming week is All-Star break, all that. So there's really not much to talk about and break down other than the rest of this draft. We haven't really talked about internally, so I'm not sure if we're going to do just one show, maybe one NS9 next week, and just kind of wrap this whole thing up. But whatever we decide, we'll tell you, and we'll be there for that. So we'll catch you guys later. Bye-bye.
These are Scouts.
Go to hell, Jim.